So we're back again for day 8 of the Legacy Marathon, and we've spun the wheel, and the first deck we've landed on today is 8 cast. Despite having so many combo decks left on the wheel, we just can't hit them. So 8 cast is a, I don't know, what would you call this? Mid-range? Value? It's a blue artifact deck that revolves around a whole bunch of artifact synergy cards. So you've got your initial setup lands, which is, of course, Ancient Tomb, to ramp out into these like 3-drop stuff faster. Islands, of course, Otawaras for when you need to Otawara stuff. Seed of the Synod, because it's a blue artifact land. And of course, Urza's Saga, why not? Then you've got a bunch of 0 mana artifacts. Lotus Petal to go faster, Mox Opal, same thing. And then you got Mishra's and Urza's Bauble, which cantrip by sacking them. Then you've got 1 mana spells for Urza's Saga when you don't want to get a 0 mana one. So Aether Spellbomb, Pithing Needle, and Shadow Spear. Then on the 2-drop slot, we've got Chalice of the Void. You can usually put this on 1 because it mostly doesn't affect your deck. And then we've got Patchwork Automaton, which becomes larger for every artifact that you cast. Then there's Emery, which is good for rebuying artifacts from the graveyard. You've got 1 scythe. Sometimes there's more size. Triggers whenever you cast an artifact to make Thopters. And then you've got your Thought Cast and Thought Monitors, which are your redraw cards. Force of Will, so you can actually interact with the opponent, and Kappa Cannoneer as your big bomb creature that is basically a huge creature that's unblockable and very hard to kill. So there's a lot of synergies going on with this deck, and there's a tension between how fast you want to run out your early artifacts. So if you are trying to get, for example, Opal online, then you want to run them all out really quickly. Or if you're trying to play like a turn 1 Emery, right? Then you need the affinity for the turn 1 Emery, you need affinity for Thought Cast and Thought Monitor. So in those, or for, improvising Kappa Cannoneer. So in those cases, you want to run out your artifacts as fast as possible. But sometimes you don't, because Patchwork Automaton and Psy trigger on casting artifacts, in which case you sometimes don't want to just run them all out. You also may want to hold on to artifacts so that you can trigger Kappa Cannoneer. So there's some tension there. There's also tension in whether you sack these baubles immediately or not, because you need a sufficient amount of artifacts for Opal, but you also want to draw cards, so there's tension in those as well. And you also want to have more artifacts on the board so that your Saga tokens are bigger, and so that future affinity cards like Thought Monitor, Thoughtcast, etc. are more playable. Emery in specific is really good for rebuying baubles every turn, but you can also rebuy Thought Monitors that have died and other things. You've got Aether Spellbomb mostly to bounce opponents' creatures like enemy Merit Lages, but you can use it to bounce your own Thought Monitors and replay them, or you can bounce your own creatures in response to removal. There's the whole Shadow Spear plan with the Saga tokens, but you can put it on other stuff as well. There's a lot of stuff going on in the deck. Sideboard, we've got Flusterstorm for the Storm decks. We've got Hydroblast for the red decks. Force of Negation for mostly the combo decks. Dismember for enemy creature decks. Fairy Macabre for graveyards. Grafdigger's Cage for graveyards / natural order type effects. 1 Haywire Might, which we can slot in as a Saga tutor target to beat enemy artifact and enchantments, such as the Ring. And then Crucible of Worlds. If our opponent's trying to wasteland us, we can bring that in to recycle Urza Sagas that have gone away. Sometimes this deck plays Metallic Rebuke as a cheap artifact synergy counterspell. This version is not playing that, but usually the main things that you're going to see are this mana base, a bunch of 0-drop artifacts, which are these ones, one of Urza Saga targets, and then you'll usually see Emery, Psy, Kappa Cannoneer, and the Thoughts. Anyway, that is 8 cast, which is basically Legacy Affinity. So let's jump into our first league of the day. Round 1, we are on the draw. I've also noticed that these Legacy leagues get fewer players than like the Modern and Pioneer ones. So we've played against VCF before. You're going to see a lot of the same players over and over, I think. I wish I could remember what they were playing last time. All right, we've got a turn 1 Ancient Tomb into Patchwork, and then we can play 3 artifacts to trigger it. So that seems pretty good. Or actually, we can go Bauble, Bauble, Opal, Needle something. So yeah, I'm going to keep this. Scalding Tarn, Aether Spellbomb. All right, so Ancient Tomb, tap, play Patchwork. Force of Will, pitching Ponder. Well, that makes this plan way, 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 way worse. Do I just run out everything now for future affinity stuff? Like, what if I draw another Patchwork? It's unlikely that I'll draw another Patchwork, though. All right, let's just run out everything. Bauble, Bauble, Opal, and then Aether Spellbomb. And then I'm not going to crack any of this until I see what I'm getting next turn. Actually, I could probably crack one of them. Opponent fetches, grabs Tropical Island. I assume we're playing against Delver. Ponder, Wasteland. All right, well, that's a problem. All right, I'm going to pop one of these. Let's pop Bauble. Reveals Volcanic Island, sure. So upkeep, draw this. All right, Emery's fantastic. So Seed of the Synod, Emery, trigger, milling over a bunch of this stuff. What can I needle from Delver? I guess Wasteland. All right, let's play Needle. Maybe, I don't know. Maybe I need to spend Spellbomb to bounce this, though, if they target it with removal. Yeah, I probably have to wait. Okay, let's just pass it back. Like, if they try to bolt this, I probably need to just bounce it back to my hand, because otherwise I'm not doing anything. Petty Theft it back to my hand. All right, well, I'll definitely bounce it. So, bounce this. It makes their adventure fizzle, so that they can't cast Brazen Borrower. Ooh, Thought Monitor. All right, let's replay Emery, trigger, and then how far are we away from paying Thought Monitor? It costs 4 right now, so we're 1 away. What can I needle from Delver? I guess I just needle Wasteland. All right, let's name Wasteland. And back over to them. Misty Rainforest. Bolt. Well, I could save it. How much does this Thought Monitor cost? So it's 3 right now. So I actually can't cast it. I probably need to try to save my Emery. All right, let's force this. Opponent fetches. It's just like so much more valuable to be able to cast Baubles every turn. Beanstalk. All right. Drew Kappa Cannoneer. So I can play this for... I'm 1 short, or I'm 2 short rather. So let's Emery, put back. There's nothing I can put back to where I can cast this, right? I'm going to be 1 short regardless of which one I do. So that being the case, I may actually just want to put Patchwork Automaton into play. Yeah, let's do that. All right, cast Patchwork Automaton. All right, over to them. And the next turn, I can put back another artifact and then cast Kappa. Casts Mandrills, redraw off the Beanstalk. Plays another land. Fetches. Plays Light from the Loam, getting back Tarn. Okay. All right, let's play Urza Saga. That's a fantastic draw. Let's make sure to play around Days. So let's get Urza's Bauble back. All right, so cast the Bauble, trigger Patchwork. Then the Bauble resolves, and then we'll play Kappa. Improvise, 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 improvise. This one, and still have the mana up. All right. So they've conceded to Kappa Cannoneer. So I'm not sure what I actually bring in against them. I know I don't want Force of Will, but after that, I'm not sure what the bring-in is. Probably Crucible. And then what else? Dismember can kill Hooting Mandrills. It can kill Darcy and Delver. It can't kill Murktide, though. Alternatively, Flusterstorm to counter their spells, but I don't think there's too many spells of theirs that I need to counter. Also, these games are probably going to go pretty long, so I think Dismember is the actual pick here. I don't need Haywire Might for anything. I guess it kills Beanstalk after they already draw a card off of it. It's still probably worth killing Beanstalk, though. All right, let's just have 2 Dismembers in that case. All right, submit. Let's see. Ancient Tomb Petal, Urza's Bauble, play Haywire Might. Or it's Otawara, Petal, Bauble, Haywire Might, then next turn Tomb Kappa. I'm getting the math right on that, right? I'll have three mana worth of lands and 3 artifacts, so that is correct. All right, keep that. Turn 1, Scalding Tarn. Does that change the math? 1, 2, 3. No, it doesn't. All right, so let's just play Otawara, Haywire. Otawara, Haywire. And then I'm not going to run any of these 0 drops out until I know that I'm going to be able to either cast Kappa or... because I might like draw Psy next turn or something, so I could go play that first and then Kappa. Second land for the opponent. They fetch. Volcanic, Trop, Collector, oof. Well, ooh. Okay, so cast. Kappa, if I play Tomb first, it plays around Days, right? Because it's 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Although Urza Saga is better to get out right now. All right, let's just play Urza Saga and then Kappa. And if they Daze it, they Daze it. Urza Saga, Kappa. They do Daze it. All right. Well, next turn we can play around Daze and have Urza Saga up. Or no, we can't do both. Wilt our Urza Saga. Well, all right. Take 2 from that. Okay, let's just play another... How much is this being reduced by? 4. So it costs 3 right now. So I can cast it, but again, can't play around Daze. I can also just cast it next turn. All right, so Kappa. Tap, 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 tap. Tap, floating 1. Kappa. All right, this one resolved. All's yield to this. And then the mana fizzles, and then it's back to them. So Kappa is like the all-star in this matchup because it's so hard for them to get rid of it once it's on the board, since it has Ward 4. Up the Beanstalk trigger, play land, fetch, gets another Trop. Hooting Mandrills, redraw. All right, cast Opal, trigger this, and then I can cast Thought Monitor for just a single blue source. So cast Thought Monitor, trigger this and the Thought Monitor. Draw 2, Kappa trigger. Ooh, I can dismember the oof. Kill this. Takes a bunch of life, but that's fine. Dismember your oof. Force of Negation, pitching Murktide. Sure. I'm going to hold this in case I don't draw another artifact. Actually, let me think. So if I attack now, it's unblockable. They go to 10. If I play this right now, they go to 9, and then any other artifact off the top. Although it's the same math with Thought Monitor, isn't it? All right, so let's just attack. So fizzle the mana, and then attack with Kappa. Swing. They go to 10. And then next turn, I go Seed of the Synod. This triggers. It becomes an 8/8, and then this is 10. So yeah, Kappa Cannoneer is pretty key in any sort of like the interactive matchups because it doesn't rely on activated abilities, so Oofs and Null Rods don't shut it down, and its Ward 4 makes it super hard to kill with removal. Bolt, Thought Monitor, all right. Swing with these two, that's fine. We take 6 and go to 4. So this is awkward, because now I can't really attack them anymore, right? Because then they swing here, this doesn't trigger until after combat damage, so maybe I should have blocked Oof last turn. Well, since that's the case, these Ancient Tombs are also just not doing anything anymore, right? All right, so let's just keep triggering this. I guess what? If I attack with the Haywire Might, it means... Okay, so if I attack with Haywire Might, they go to 9, and then any artifact off the top makes this an unblockable 9/9. But attacking with it does leave me susceptible to dying to a Bolt, because then they can just swing with both of these and then bolt me. But I'm going to attack with Haywire Might. I think it's the best shot I have at getting out of this. So swing with Haywire, they go to 9, and then any artifact off the top is lethal. They go to combat, they attack with both. All right, we're dead to a Bolt, so... Block Hooting Mandrills, we go to 2. Casting another Mandrills, drawing a card, plays DRC. All right, any artifact off the top, there we go. Chalice, we can only cast it for 0, but that's fine. Chalice for 0. No, they have a counter spell. All right, well, Chalice gets countered, and then if I attack, they just block with this thing and then kill us with Mandrills. So I just don't attack and then hope that blocking here and here is enough and they can't get Delirium. All right, over to them. They're only drawing 1 card off the top, so it's quite possible that they can't get to Delirium. Wasteland. So they can waste our Otawara, and then we can't play anything that costs blue. Sure. Or actually, we can't play anything that costs mana at all, because we can't activate any of our lands. Well, there's Thoughtcast, so yeah, back to them. All right, it's basically who's ever gonna top deck better first. We're dead to Bolt, we're dead to them getting Delirium. Emery, can't cast it. Back to them. Ponder. And that is a sorcery, so they can get to Delirium potentially. They didn't Surveil, and they didn't Shuffle. Brainstorm. All right, and now they have Delirium, and now we're dead. All right, I think it's the same thing. Maybe I want... Okay, so they're playing Collector Oof, so I guess I want Dismember more. So what am I cutting? Is Pithing Needle that good? It is good for naming Wasteland, but it's not really that great most of the time. It's either that or Crucible. It's one or the other. Let's cut Needle. All right, on the play for game 3. So turn 1 Patchwork, but we have to cast all of our stuff in order to cast it to begin with, so then we don't get to trigger it very much. So that's not very good. So yeah, let's mold it. Because let me math this out. It's Opal, Petal, tap Opal, sack Petal, cast Patchwork Automaton, and then I can cast like another Opal and a Spell Bomb. That's so bad. Or I can maybe get out 2 Patchworks. I can go, okay, Opal, Petal, sack a Petal, or activate Opal, sack a Petal, cast Patchwork number 1. Then next turn, tap Opal, sack Petal, cast Patchwork number 2, cast a new Opal, cast Aether Spellbomb, and then there's a 4/4 and a 3/3 that are both warded. And of course, any of this fails to like Force a Will. That's not actually too bad. Or I don't even have to wait a turn, right? I just go Opal, Petal, tap, sack, Patchwork number 1, play a new Opal, trigger, sack, cast Patchwork number 2, tap Opal, cast Aether Spellbomb. That's actually pretty decent. And it leaves us with an Opal in play. All right, I'm actually going to keep this. I think it's so annoying that the artifact shutoff abilities don't exclude mana abilities. Yes, I don't understand why they don't exclude them. So Petal, Opal, tap, Patchwork, sack this, cast a new Opal, trigger, keep the new Opal, tap, cast this Patchwork, sack. All right, over to them. Pretty all in here. Volcanic Island, cast Bauble, trigger, cast Aether Spellbomb, trigger, go to combat, swing, bolt me, okay, 17. They take 8 and go to 12. And then I guess I should Bauble them now. They're drawing a Volcanic, sure. So upkeep trigger, we draw Shadow Spear, Tropical Island, and we know they have a Volcanic in hand, and then 5 other unknowns. Cast the Bauble, triggers, cast Shadow Spear, triggers. Wow, we actually won with that hand. All right, on to round number 2. See, that's why you gotta think things through, because I was looking at that hand going like, oh, well, we don't have any mana outside of Opal and Petals. Like, surely we need to mulligan this. And it's like, nope, it's actually fine. That was a great line, yeah. Yeah, that was great. All right, so how fast do we get Thought Monitor online? We go turn 1 Saga Bauble, turn 2 Ancient Tomb. We have a turn 2 like start making Saga tokens. I think it's decent enough even with just that. All right, upkeeping. We are on the draw. Lotus Petal, sack for black, ritual. Are we dying on turn 1 to Storm? Thoughtseize. Took Thought Monitor, plays LED, LED. Wow, we're gonna die on turn 1 to Storm, eh? Sack, and then they go Gaia, and then they go... No, they can't Beseech because they have nothing in play, right? So they're just gonna play Adnaz or something? Paradise Lost. Get all of... All right, so now they can do it, right? Last card in their hand is Infernal Tutor, and then they go sack, and then they can Beseech. All right, yeah, they got this. Well, dead on turn 1 to Storm. So... Force Negation, Flusterstorm. That's it, right? Just those. Boy, is Chalice of the Void awkward, because I want to put it on 0, but I can't. Putting it on 1 isn't too bad, though. All right, so let's see. Needle is... what can I name with Needle? Nothing, right? Everything in their deck is mana abilities. Shadow Spear is also not good. Cut Needle, Cutting, what else? Aether Spellbomb. It's not relevant to bounce anything of theirs, or usually anything of ours. What else? Is Patrick Automaton slower than any other threat that we have? I'm not sure. Like, what is our actual slowest threat? Is it Psy? Is it Patchwork? Is it Kappa? The unblockable part here doesn't actually matter, so in this matchup, so I can probably cut 2 Kappas or like 1 Kappa and Psy. The fact that this can draw cards might be relevant, but probably isn't. Let's cut Psy. All right, so on the play. Well, we got Force of Will, and that's all that matters, eh? I also have a turn 1 Emery with, yeah, all right, so I'll keep. So land, Petal, Opal, Emery, trigger. What did we mill over? All right, Bauble, so over to them. Tropical Island, blue, Ponder, sure. All right, so they pondered, back to us. All right, Urza Saga's friggin' fantastic. So let's Emery the Bauble out, cast the Bauble, play Urza Saga. I think I'm more inclined to play Thoughtcast here than I am Patchwork Automaton, although if I don't draw another blue card, All right, let's play Patchwork, and then I guess it was a mistake to play Bauble first, but let's just keep Force of Will up. Brainstorm. Underground Sea. All right, I should pop Bauble right now. Pop the Bauble. What do you got? Cabal Ritual. Sure. Bauble draw. Another Force of Will is excellent. Saga goes up to 2 counters. Grab the Bauble. Cast the Bauble. Trigger the Patchwork. Play another Saga. And then let's go ahead and Thoughtcast here. So Thoughtcast. Draw. Cast Bauble. Trigger. Go to combat, swing. I should draw the cards immediately so that I can maybe get more blue cards for Force. So Bauble them, Lotus Petal, Bauble them. So their hand is this. Oh, Thoughtseize, that's rough. All right, so 2 triggers. We draw off our Baubles, draw. No other blue card. That is so rough. So now they can just Thoughtseize us and take one of our forces. Well, yep. They take one of our forces, and then if they can storm off, they can storm off. Lotus Petal. Yeah, if they're casting it now, then that means they win, right? Lotus Petal. Black and green, ritual, Bauble, sack this, Beseech the Mirror. Yeah, we're dead, right? So we lost because we drew 2 non-blue cards off of Thoughtcast. I suppose I could have also just not cast Thoughtcast, and then I would have been able to have 2 forces and a blue card. They just win, right? They have like all the mana they need. Storm count's already at 10, so we're just dead to Tendrils, right? All they need to do is cast anything. Wait, they're Infernal Tutoring, for LED, and then they can LED, replay LED, and then or replay whatever, and then Beseech, right? Yeah, then Beseech and go grab Tendrils, and we're dead. Storm's 15. Yep. Oh, well. On to round number 3. Round 3 on the draw. Okay, this hand, I can technically play an Emery. So I can play Emery on turn 1, and then I can still have 2 redraws if that fails. So the hand is not, like, terrible. All right, I'll keep Wasteland. Okay. Well, haha, this hand is immune to Wasteland. Ooh, another Petal. All right. Bauble, Petal, cast Emery, trigger, Petal. I guess I don't need to cast Petal right now. Let's Bauble them. Passageway Seer. Wait, what is this? 4 mana, 2/2 lifelink. When it ETBs, you take the initiative. End step, if you have the initiative, put a +1 counter on it. All right, well, So I don't want to pop the other bauble immediately because if I draw Opal, I want to be able to... What is the thought monitor math right now? It's replay a bauble, and then it's Opal, or it's Petal, and then next turn another, and then next turn Opal. Yeah, all right, let's just pass. Let's pass and hope that this Emery is good enough. 1 mana of colorless at instant speed. Are we, what, swamp cycling? What are we doing? Yeah, cycle the troll, sure. So this is what, mono black initiative, or it's like Helm, but with initiative creatures. All right, bauble trigger, draw a card. Drawing Opal's pretty good. Plays the swamp, snuff out on Emery. All right, dark ritual, and then they get to play their initiative guy. No, there's the initiative. Gets a swamp, and then they get a counter. Well, we finally drew a land, but it's just going to get wastelanded, but I may as well play it and just force their hand. All right, Saga, Opal, Petal, and then Kappa Cannoneer is not castable right now, so Emery, trigger. I can play Chalice on 1. I don't think that matters. I have to sack Petal to do it. Yeah, let's just pass. All right, initiative. Then this becomes a 5/5. Plays the swamp. All right, no blocks. Take 5, go to 15. They go to 21. Wasteland our land, sure. And then end step, it grows bigger. Orcish Bowmasters. Well, ain't that a bitch. All right, Lotus Petal. Even if I get Cap into play, it doesn't even block this, although I can steal the initiative back from them, although that doesn't matter either. So we're going to 9 off the initiative. If I thought monitor the Bowmasters triggers, I cannot think of what I can possibly do here. In order to even play this Kappa Cannoneer, I'd have to play Chalice on 0. So I'd have to, like, Emery, put a bauble into play, then play Chalice on 0, and then cast the Kappa. And then the Kappa still can't block this, so I'm going to 9. Then this attacks, I still can't block it, so I go to 3. It becomes a 7/7. The Bowmasters triggers whenever I draw a card. So yeah, we're dead. All right. I guess I want what? Dismember or something? Dismember for Bowmasters, and that's it. And I actually do want Force Will in this matchup, so keep that around. So what do I not want? I can't just not play cards that draw extra cards because of Bowmasters. Our whole deck draws extra cards. Chalice of the Void probably isn't very good in this matchup. Let's cut those. And that leaves me with what? Crucible of Worlds? I'm not going to play any of these counters or Fairy Macabre. I don't think Cage does anything. I don't think Haywire Might does anything. So yeah, that's Crucible. All right, let's do that. All right. Turn 1 Urza Saga into Ancient Tomb is pretty decent. I'm probably going to pop this bauble immediately. All right, okay. Although they're a black deck, so I'm not going to do it until their turn. So cast the bauble. Maybe I just don't pop it immediately. I want my Saga tokens to be bigger. I want potentially improvise. So Saga, trigger, and then over to them. Although I also need to play around Bowmasters, so I probably should pop it at some point. Well, there's Wasteland. All right. Well, we got a second Urza Saga, so I'm good. All right, second Urza Saga. Now we drew Needle. I guess I'm going to Needle Wasteland. All right, over to them. Plays their own Ancient Tomb. Casts Null Rod. Well, activate Urza's Bauble. They have Oppo Agent. They have Oppo Agent in their hand? God damn it. I guess I can dismember that. All right, that's fine. All right, so got to remember that. So yield, draw a card to the bauble, then draw for turn. This goes up to 2. Ancient Tomb, we drew Forcible. That's pretty good too. Over to them. Swamp. Oh man, so the awkward part is if I want to make a construct on my turn, so I've got to Force a Will this because I'm going to have to tap out to make the second construct and then they'll Oppo Agent. They're just going to cast it now. All right, so we have to force it. Force, pitch Kappa. All right, make a construct. And then main phase, this triggers, we make another construct, make the construct, fetch out, I'm not actually sure, probably just Shadow Spear at this point. Oh wait, no, I can't equip it, right. So anything I fetch out, I can't even activate. So what is the best thing to fetch? I don't know. I guess it doesn't matter, so I guess it's just Shadow Spear, fine. All right, grab Shadow Spear. This is more damage, but then I can't dismember. I don't think I have to dismember anything at instant speed, though. So let's just play Seed of the Synod and go to combat, swing here. Dark Ritual, then takes damage from Ancient Tomb. Plays Shieldred's Edict. All right, well, lose a token. Orcish Bowmasters. All right. Reanimate Oppo Agent. Island. So I can dismember something. So if I attack them, they'll almost certainly double block it, unless they just single chump here. It doesn't change what I'm doing. So just go to combat, swing, block with the token, block with opposition agent. All right, before damage, dismember the opposition agent, and then over to them. And now if they want to tap Ancient Tomb, they have to go to 4. So they are in a somewhat precarious... Okay, never mind. Dothy Voidwalker, which I can't do anything about, but I can bounce this orc. Actually, no, I can't bounce this orc. I don't have the mana to bounce that orc. Well, I think I'm going to kill them faster than they're going to kill me, so I still can't tap this. Patchwork Automaton. All right. Black. Cast Patchwork. Combat. Swing here. They pretty much have to block this. Yeah, so then Bowmasters dies, and then it's over to them. And they just have this Dothy that can't block. Black. Reanimate Bowmasters. All right. That comes out. They go to 4, and they can actually pay to kill this. Darn. All right. And then they can chump with the token. Unless I draw a land that I can activate, then I can Otawara the token, and they have to block with Bowmasters. Swing with Dothy. We go to 7. Drawing Opal, which I can't activate. So I go attack. They chump with the token. Then they can attack back for 3, putting me to 4. All right, so... All right, just keep attacking normally. Swing. Block with the Orc Army. Over to them. Another Dothy. So we're dead in 1 turn unless we find the answer to this Bowmasters. So we need to find an untapped land that is not an artifact. Drawing. Oh, okay. Urborg makes that viable. All right. Ancient Tomb. Otawara your Bowmaster. Blue. 2 mana. Black. Bounce your Bowmaster. I guess I could also like bounce Null Rod and then played Opal and equipped Shadow Spear. Either way, it worked. Either way, it's the same thing. Combat. Swing. Okay. Run back the same thing. Haywire Might can't eat the Null Rod. I guess what? Force Negation is like more important if they have Null Rod, but I already have 4 Force of Wills anyway. I don't particularly want to change anything out to play Force in the side, to play Force main, so I guess it's really, really important to counter Null Rod, right? Cut like 1 Thought Cast for 1 Force Negation. All right, let's do that. Submit. Like, we can win through a Null Rod. We can win via Urza's Saga, Kappa, Patchwork Automaton, but it makes it a lot harder. This hand, not keepable. Mull this. All right, well, this hand gets absolutely dumpstered by a Null Rod, but I'm going to keep it. What do I put back? 1 Seed of the Synod, I guess. Ancient Tomb. All right. So I can play these 0/1s and then... Well, I should play Shadow Spear, and then I can hold on to Lotus Petal in case I draw Sai or something. But I should definitely play Bauble and probably crack it right now to get around Bowmaster. So Bauble, target them. They have Ritual in hand, sure. Island, Shadow Spear, and then over to them. Maybe I'm not supposed to do that because it makes it 1 turn slower for Kappa Cannoneer. What in the world? Okay, cycle the Troll. Yeah, maybe I'm just not supposed to activate this, and then if they have Troll or Null Rod, so be it, so because I can get Kappa down next turn. Well, we drew Force of Will. See, there's like so many like angles of what might you be able to draw. Argena Masticore is what a lot of these decks are running for Null Rod. I could see running that. Argena Masticore was in one of the other decks, right? It was in Cloud Post or something. Dark Ritual. Shieldred. Well, we're countering that. Over to us. Now we got nothing in hand. Well, we still have nothing in hand, so let's just play Ancient Tomb and pass. How was Cloud Post, by the way? Cloud Post is awful. Deck is horrible. Passageway Seer. All right, well, we can't do anything about that. All right, we really need to draw some action. Another Lotus Petal is not action. All right, Seed of the Synod, go. Take 5, go to 14. Triggers, becomes a 6/6. All right, time to draw actual cards, and it just grew out of range of Dismember. Amazing. Well, pass the turn. Flash is an Oppo agent. How much damage are we taking? We're going 7... Or we're taking 5 down to 9. This is a 7, and so that's both lethal. So, yeah, all right, Opposition Agent. Dark Ritual. All right. They're going to play, what, Bowmasters now or something? Or another Opposition Agent? Jesus Christ. All right, well, I think we just lose now. Actually, no, I'm just straight up dead, right? I dismember this one to save 5 life, and that's 2, 5, 8. We survive at 1, and then we're just dead next turn. All right, yeah, we're dead. Hey, there's action, although not great. On to round number 4. All right, turn 1 Chalice of the Void, although that does stop Aether Spellbomb from working. But, I mean, this hand, obviously triple Ancient Tomb is less than ideal, but it's fine. We're on the draw again, right? Yeah. Cavern of Souls on Human. Well, the Chalice of the Void just became awful. All right, Tomb, Patchwork, Opal, Trigger, and over to them. City of Traders, Lotus Petal. Oh, is it Boros Initiative? Yeah. Caves of Chaos Adventurer. Excellent. Another Chalice of the Void. I can bounce it and hit them. All right. Yeah. Aether Spellbomb. Trigger. Bounce. Caves of Chaos Adventurer. Although they do get to just take the initiative back on their turn. But what else am I going to do? So bounce that. I guess let's Chalice for 1. trigger the patchwork, combat, swing, steal the initiative, trigger the initiative, trigger the Undercity, go grab an island. I've played a land, right? All right, back over to them. If I draw another artifact, I can get patchwork up to a 6/6, and they can't block it effectively. City of Traders, Plains, and then replay Caves of Chaos Adventurer, take the initiative. Oh, right, they get to forge it. And I don't get to forge my guy because they stole it back. So forge it to 7/5. I guess I can make it to where they have to trade with it at least. Does Boros Initiative play anything that costs 2? They don't, right? So I should just play this on 1 again? All right, play Chalice on 1, trigger Patchwork, go to combat, swing. They are blocking. All right. Well, I can't do anything else, so... The other option was to put it on 0 and then have Force of Will up, but then they still have the initiative, and putting it on 0 means I can't play any of my own 0 mana cards. So Trap, we go down to 11. Chrome Mox. Oh my god. Putting it on 0 would have been effective. 4th Aerolingus they're exiling. Another 4th Aerolingus. Fantastic. So we're just getting run over. All right. So we're at 9. They become the Monarch. They draw an extra card. I can't imagine... Chalice on 0. I can't imagine what I would... Urza Saga's too slow. Probably. All right. Urza Saga. Over to them. So now they draw a card off of the initiative. City of Traders. Hits us for 2. We go to 7. Hey, we can't counter that because it's Cavern of Souls. All right. Well, we're super dead. Initiative. Triggers. Immediately puts another creature into play. Yeah, all right. We can just concede this. Well, Hydroblast doesn't do... I guess Hydroblast can kill it once it's in play. It just can't counter it. Dismember can also kill their guys. Does Needle do anything in this matchup? I don't think so. Cut that. I mean, maybe if they're playing Comet or Fable the Mirror Breaker flips over, you can name it. Although, so maybe Haywire Might is okay. What am I cutting for this? Chalice of the Void's probably pretty bad against them. So cut that. All right, I'm not going to bother with Haywire Might. Let's just run this. God, is Force of Will even good? It counters what? Aerolingus, Chrome Mox. Let's do that. Submit. Okay, we have turn 1, Saga, Opal, Haywire Might. Well, if I play Saga on turn 1, then I can't activate it on turn 2 because I don't have another 0 drop. So I should play Otawara on turn 1 and then play Haywire Might and Opal. All right, so play this, play this, play this, and then over to them. Ancient Tomb, Simian Spirit Guide, Fable the Mirror Breaker. All right, at least we can eat that, but then we can't eat the stupid Goblin Shaman. Oy. So Saga... Trigger. So there's no getting around the Shaman token. God damn. If I play the Shadow Spear right now and then activate Haywire Might, then I don't have Metalcraft anymore. I guess I can Hydroblast it, right? So I can go Shadow Spear, and then what? I'm Hydroblasting their Shaman? Like, that's so bad. Letting them redraw with the Fable is also terrible. And I do have to eventually deal with it anyway. So, alright, Shadow Spear. Alright, Hydroblast the Shaman. Then attack them, and then kill Fable. All right, so now we got to win pretty much off of Urza's Saga. Chrome Mox gets rid of Seasoned Engineer, Cavern of Souls, and here comes another Dungeoneer. Yep, go fetch a basic. There's a mountain. Then it's back to us. Trigger. So if I play Ancient Tomb and make a Construct, Opal's online, but then I'm one short of playing Sai. So let's just play Island. Although I can make a Construct and suit it up immediately. All right, let's do that. So... make a Construct. I guess this saves mana in the long run, right? Equip here. Although I can't actually block this, but it's fine. Over to them. Trigger, counters here. Mountain, Blood Moon. Oh my god. Chalice the Void on 0. Yep. No attacks, which means I can't attack them effectively. Well, at least I have an island. I have no good attacks here, so let's just play Sai and pass. All right, Trap Room, we go to 15. Wait, what? Oh, they're goading Sai? Oh, right. Well, I guess I'm attacking this turn then. City of Traders, no actions from them. Another Urza Saga, which will just die instantly if I use it. So let's go to combat. Swing. Am I supposed to activate Sai before damage? How do I get out of this? I can't dismember this. So that leaves me with what? Aether Spellbomb? It's basically just the one of Aether Spellbomb in my deck, right? That's it. That's the only possible way I get out of this. Whatever. Let's go to damage. Oh, come on. They also have Swords to Plowshares. All right, so activate, sacking. So this one and this one, I guess. Sack the Construct and Opal? I don't know. Now, Opal's getting me through the Blood Moon. I guess it isn't actually, though. All right, sack these two. Drew Otawara, which I can't use. All right, Fizzle the Sword, Psy dies. Play Ancient Tomb. I can Otawara this next turn. Still doesn't even matter because the initiative keeps going off anyway. All right, so if I'd played Ancient Tomb ahead of time, no, I still would have been short of being able to Otawara. Lotus Petal, 6/7. We go to 14. Then this thing, then they have 10 power on the board, and this is going off next turn. Emery. There's no way we get out of this. Yeah, we're dead. On to round 5. All right, we're on the draw for the 5th and final round. What's the speed on this? It's turn 2 Psy, turn 3 start actually doing things. All right, keep Polluted Delta, Volcanic, Delver. All right, I should hold on to this Opal until after I cast Psy. So Seed of the Synod, go. And cool thing is we get to get Dazed, and there's no way that we can afford to wait. Wasteland, god damn. Fine, sure, yeah, Wasteland. They didn't flip Delver at least. Oh, another Delver. All right, let's play Island and pass. Will Delver flip? Yes. Oh, and they have Daze. Okay, we just lose the game now. So let's concede and go to second match. What? Dismember, take Needle out, take out Force, bring in Crucible. I don't know what version of Delver they're on. Either way, Hydroblast isn't great. Flusterstorm's okay. Not great either, though. I don't want any of the rest of this, so I guess I'm just leaving a Force of Will in. All right, we've got turn 1 Chalice of the Void, so that's way better. Although I can't actually do anything else. Well, it's turn 1 Chalice, turn 2 play Saga, I guess. All right, let's keep. Resolving Chalice of the Void against them is just so good if they don't Force of Will. All right, Ancient Tomb, Chalice. All right, they didn't counter it. Over to them. Wasteland. Yay, they popped it, so we get to resolve Urza Saga. All right, play Urza Saga and go. Underground Sea. Back to us. Saga goes up to 2 counters. All right, so let's go Ancient Tomb, Mox Opal, make a Construct, and then cast Emery. Trigger, and then pass. And we have some artifacts in the yard. It's cast them, right? So I can't cast the Seed of the Synod, but I can cast Lotus Petal. Regardless, I think we just have the game already. We have an active Urza Saga with Chalice of the Void on 1. Like, I think they're extremely dead. Underground Sea. EE for 0. Well, never mind. Well, goodbye, my artifacts. I at least can rebuild with Emery. Trigger. So I can replay Chalice of the Void and pay for Daze, unless I make a Construct here. Although, okay, so I make a Construct, then I Saga for Opal, and then I play Seed of the Synod, and then I have 2 mana to recast Chalice, but it doesn't pay for Daze. It's still probably better to just get another artifact, another Construct on the board. All right, so make a Construct, then resolve Saga, and go grab Mox Opal, play Seed of the Synod, targeting Chalice of the Void, and cast Chalice. All right, do you have Daze? The cool thing is even... Okay, so they do have Daze. The cool thing is even though they have Daze, they still have to kill Emery. Scalding Tarn. Fetch. Volcanic. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1 short of Kappa. Red Blast the Emery. We have another Emery to follow up. Delver. Drew Bauble. Okay, so... I once again cannot pay for Daze if I play Kappa Cannoneer. So the best option is probably go Patchwork, Bauble, Emery. Yeah, that's probably the best option. All right, so Patchwork, and that makes this Construct bigger as well. Then cast Bauble, trigger the Patchwork, then cast Emery, trigger, mill, and then combat, swing here. There is an argument to be made to pop this Bauble, potentially, but I think I just keep it. All right, so Delver doesn't flip. Underground Sea. They have to kill this immediately, right? Like, they just have to. Bolt Emery, sure. Chalice again. All right, cast Chalice. Trigger the Patchwork. Blue in response. Daze. Okay. Pay for Daze. All right, go to combat. Swing. Opponent goes to 5, then it's over to them. Delver trigger. Does not flip. All right, we won that game. Yeah, just run the same thing again. I guess what? Needle is good for naming Wasteland. So it is actually not a dead card, so just cut Force of Will. All right, submit. No mana, mull. All right, that's fine. So keep this. What am I binning? I've got a turn 1 Emery or a turn 1 Saga into Ancient Tomb. Kappa is also great in this matchup. I think they're more likely to have removal than they are to have Wasteland. Man, the problem is just like chucking the island means I can't play anything. Maybe I chuck Emery, or maybe I just chuck one of the artifacts, like Opal. All right, let's chuck Opal. Misty Rainforest, fetch. Volcanic. Plays Darcy. All right. Ooh. All right, Saga, trigger. Run out Mishra's Bauble right now. Over to them. They're also Grixis Delver, so they obviously have Bowmasters, so there's the issue of timing with Bauble. Have you played Goblins already? Yes. Swing with Darcy. we take 1, go to 19. Ponder. Surveil. Surveil did land. Ponder. Yeah, let's just keep Bauble around for now. Trigger this. All right, Ancient Tomb. I don't think there's any reason to cast Opal at the moment. Oh, I know there is. I make a construct, I have Opal, and then I can play Emery. All right, so cast Opal. Activate this. Cast Emery. Opponent fetches. Grabs Volcanic. They're going to blast it, presumably. Yeah, Pyroblast. Sure. Surveils a land. Or no, they fetched. They surveilled nothing, so they kept it on top. EE for 0. Yep. Surveil a land. Yeah, that resolves. Pop EE. All right. Activate Bauble. Target you. Murktide on top. Awesome. So then we lose those. Darcy hits us. We go to 14. They get to play Murktide next turn, and Murktide will be at least a 5/5. So trigger the Bauble draw. Ooh, Dismember. All right, this triggers. If I make mana right now, then I have 1, 3, 4. We should definitely just make a construct, even though it hurts us. All right, make a construct. And what is the best way back into this? So I'm going to go fetch an artifact. Then I'm going to have Bauble. I'll have 3 artifacts in play. Island, and then I'm 1 short of using Thoughtcast. But if I grab Opal, then I'm not short. But if I don't grab Shadow Spear, then I'm potentially too far behind. They just get a Murktide next turn, right? So this Darcy puts us to... All right, so I get Bauble, get Opal, play Bauble, 3 artifacts, play a land, 2 mana Thoughtcast, or I grab Shadow Spear and I just try to dismember the Darcy. I think I just have to kill the... So I dismember the Darcy. If that resolves and it doesn't get dazed, they play a Murktide that's a 5/5. Our construct is 3 artifacts on the board, plus Shadow Spear is a 4/4, and we're at 8. So that puts us in bolt range. If it gets dazed, we just lose. If I grab Opal, then I have Bauble land, and that's short of casting Kappa, right? Because then I have 1, 2, 3, 4. I think I have to dismember this and then try... Oh, I guess I could grab Aether Spellbomb, and then Aether Spellbomb bounces the Murktide, right? Yeah, so let's grab Aether Spellbomb. Then let's play a land. Let's play Bauble. If they have days, they have days. Like, what can I do? Dismember this. All right. That succeeded. So the size of this construct really doesn't seem to matter much right now, so I should probably Bauble now. But then I'm short, because I need to be able to play Cap and Thoughtcast next turn. Although I also need to be able to bounce the Murktide, and then I only have 1 blue to do that. I definitely need to bounce the Murktide, right? So for 100% I'm bouncing the Murktide. So I do need to try to find more lands or something. All right, let's Bauble them. They do have a Bolt in their hand. Yikes. All right, so over to them. Bauble trigger, Otawara, blue-red, so not casting Murktide. Meltdown. Well, there goes Aether Spellbomb. I feel like I really got to hold on to this Otawara for the Murktide. Although, let's see. Ancient Tomb, I'm going to play Sai. And then even if I draw a mana source, I go to 4 to bounce it. Man, this is rough. All right, play Sai. Sai resolves. All right, over to them. So I assume they just play Murktide now, right? Eat up all this stuff. All right, Murktide. We have to draw a mana source or we're dead. Cracks the Bauble. I guess any artifact can what? No, any artifact doesn't work because they just bolt the Thopter and then hit us. Bauble draw. We draw Patchwork. So we just lose because we go Patchwork, make a Thopter, then they just go bolt your Thopter, kill you. I can play Otawara, sack both of them to draw a card, and then I have no mana left. Yeah, we're dead. Or I go what? Patchwork, make a Thopter. I have 2 artifacts in play that's too low for Thoughtcast to do anything. Yep, we're dead. You can bounce Murktide with Sign play. How? Oh, Otawara is 1 cheaper. Okay, so, I go to 4, but then I'm still dead, right? Because then I go to 4 doing that. Bounce Murktide back to your hand, attack. Then they can just replay the Murktide, and then I can't ever cast Ancient Tomb, or I can't ever tap Ancient Tomb because then the Bolt kills us. I go Otawara, bounce, and then they just go, okay, play Murktide again. We're at 4. All right, well, bounce this. We're still going to lose. We're just going to lose a little slower now. Swing. So all they have to do is just go replay Murktide, and then Ancient Tomb's basically dead right now. I can't use it. Bolt us. Oh, they're just going to kill us. They just have 2 bolts right now? All right, yeah, that's the game. 1 and 5. Ugh. Well, 8 cast performed basically as bad as well as I thought it would. I do not like this deck at all. I've played it in paper before, and I have 2 big problems with it. The biggest problem is that the deck absolutely cannot come back from a losing position. Yeah, you have Emery, Thoughtcast, and Thought Monitor, but in actual practice, the deck really, if the deck is behind, you probably just lose the game. Like, it's so difficult to come back. you have like all this dead air, all of these wait a turn to cantrip, opal, lotus, like so many cards that just don't do anything when you draw them. If you're behind, you need a massive amount of artifacts on the board for any of your cards to do anything. For example, you need a massive amount of artifacts for the Karn tokens to be big. You need a bunch of artifacts for the affinity cards to work. And then the other part of the deck that I really don't like is I brought up earlier how you have artifacts that you want to be in play. You want them to be in play because you want your Saga tokens to be big. You want your affinity cards to be cheaper, Kappa Cannoneer to be able to improvise, and you want to be able to cast Emery. But you also have Patchwork Automatons and Size that you want to hold these artifacts for in order to cast to trigger them. And you also have these artifacts that you want to sacrifice so that you can draw cards, but sometimes you don't want to sacrifice them because, well, what if I draw Thoughtcast? Then I want this in play. Well, what if I draw Kappa Cannoneer? Well, am I supposed to sack it now so that I can maybe draw a card to get back into the game, or am I supposed to wait in case I draw one of these things? And on the surface, that might seem like interesting tension in gameplay where you have to figure out what to do, but in actual practice, there's no way for you to know ahead of time what you need to do with them. So it winds up being a deck where you just need to be a psychic in order to understand the line to take. So like, let's say I have Urza's Bauble in play, right? And my opponent has like something on the board. And so the question is like, well, or maybe my opponent's playing Storm, right? And I need to draw Force of Will. So it's like, well, do I crack this now to try to draw Force of Will or to try to draw like, a threat that can kill them faster? Or do I not crack it? Because if I draw Thoughtcast, then I'm one short of being able to cast Thoughtcast. Or do I not crack it because I need to be able to improvise out Kappa Cannoneer? And in actual practice, there's no way for you to ever know which one is correct. So a lot of times you wind up taking these lines where you're like, well, I don't know what I need to do, but if I draw Thoughtcast, then I need to hold it, so I'm just not going to activate it right now. And then you don't activate it, and then you don't draw the Thoughtcast. You draw like a land that's irrelevant, and you're like, well, I wish I would have activated it. And then the reverse happens as well, where you go, well, I don't have a Thoughtcast or a Thought Monitor or a Kappa Cannoneer right now. Like, I need to draw some action. All right, I'm going to crack the Bauble. You crack it, and then you immediately draw one of your affinity cards, and you can't cast it, and it feels terrible. So it feels like a deck where you just randomly get hosed at no fault of your own because of variance. But the absolute biggest problems are you are a basically all-in tempo deck where you need to run out all of these artifacts immediately, and if your turn 1 Chalice or your turn 2 or your turn 1 Emery fails to work, you just have all of this dead air in the deck and you wind up not being able to come back from a losing position. And unlike other decks where, let's say like the Boros Initiative deck, for example, there are decks that try to just Ancient Tomb, Simian Spirit Guide, Chrome Mox cast a thing, right? They try to cast a thing on turn 1, and if that thing gets blanked, then they lose. Well, this deck is also like that in that you have, let's say you go turn 1, land, multiple artifacts, cast Emery, and the whole hand revolves around whether Emery sticks. And then your opponent just counters Emery or bolts it, and then the deck fails. So there are multiple decks where you have expend a bunch of resources to do a thing, and if you get countered, you lose type of way. This deck also loses on the axis of getting absolutely obliterated by Null Rod, Meltdown, Serenity, Blood Moon for your Urza Sagas. It also loses on that angle as well. So it loses on multiple angles, whereas other decks that are doing a similar kind of thing don't lose on multiple angles. 8cast is in a super poor spot because of Orc Bowmasters, and it's gotten even worse since Helm became a massive problem and people pack even more Oofs and Stony Silences. Yeah. So the deck has massive problems. I played it once in paper, and that was enough for me. I already hated it. Even though on the surface, this deck is doing the kinds of things that I normally like. But for all of those problems that I brought up, I don't like the deck at all.